I was sleeping at home last night and they came and busted my door in for a traffic warrant. And I believed the dude because, we know people, they're lying, right? He
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
traffic
yeah.
warrant. They booted his fucking door in for a traffic warrant. And so he goes, here I am. I got to go to court at 1 o'clock and hopefully they'll give me a bond again. What are you here for? I go, dude, you really want to hear this story? I said, would you believe I'm a sergeant for Joliet PD? He's like, what? No. I said, dude, yeah. And I told him my story. He goes, wow, it's like a freaking bad movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I said, Shane, I'm never going to forget you. You're going to be in my book, brother. And I said, let me tell you, Shane, if I had a car right now and I got out with you, I'd give you a ride home, or you and I would go to a bar and have a drink and talk about the fucked up shit that they do to us. He's like, dude, you're something else. I said, man, this is the way I've always been. It doesn't matter who I treat everybody the way I want to be treated. You're a human being
So
like
what
I am.
happened when you saw the judge?
So no, it gets better. So I don't go see the judge yet. So they call me out. You're going to love this more dirty crap that went on with law enforcement. So I come out, and here's this freaking big browly freaking sword officer. And here's a new recruit that they're training how to do the paperwork in the jail. They go down the freaking arrest list and they go employment. And I tell the recruit, I say, hey man, Joliet police sergeant, 27 years. The FTO tells him, no, put unemployed.
What?
Put unemployed. And I look at the recruit, I said, 27 years, Javier Escueda, Joliet police training, field training sergeant. FTO says again, no, put unemployed. I said, look, young man. And I look at the FTO. Do not start off your career lying on an official police document.
Yep.
What did I
Yep.
tell you? And I look at the FTO. I said, shame on you for telling him unemployed. You do realize, Mr. FTO, that I have not been fired. I'm still currently employed by the Joliet Police Department. They can't fire me until they do an internal or I'm convicted of a felony. So with that said, young man, Sergeant Escueda, field training sergeant, 27 years. I look at the FTO. He says, officer, do exactly what he said. Dude, come on. Try to
Crazy, yeah.
screw this kid over his first
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
month on the job. So after they fill out the paperwork, they told me, oh, you can go use the phone to make a phone call. Okay, cool. I get on the phone, dude. I dial my wife. It's busy. Call the home phone. Guess what? Call my attorney. Call my best friend.
What's
I'm
going
like,
on with that phone, bro?
they do it on purpose so you can't get a hold of anybody. Could you imagine all the guys that they have locked up there and they can't call their attorneys?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
messed
yeah.
up. So I go back to my cell. They take Shane out. He goes to court, comes back. Hey, man, nice meeting you. They let me bond out. I bond. Good to go, brother. So I'm sitting in the cell now by myself, and I'm like, okay, this is awesome. I get to see the judge in the morning. I'm not going to bond out. I want the judge to know my side of the story. So I'm sitting there. So now the time change for the jailers is in. So a young man comes to the door. I think his last name was like Abel or something. He opens the door. He goes, hey, Sarge. I said, Sarge? He goes, yeah, we all know your story. And those of us that are good cops, we know it's all bullshit. He
Yeah.
goes, you couldn't make a phone call, right? I said, how'd you know that? He goes, you have your cell? Don't you with you? I said, well, you guys took it. He goes, here's your cell phone. Make all the phone calls you need to make.
Wow. Wow. Looked out.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I called my wife and everybody. And then next thing you know, like I think several hours later, they said, hey, Abel says, hey, man, there's someone here to see you. I think it's your attorney. Matter of fact, it is your attorney. I said, okay. So they get me out of the cell. They go, walk over there and turn right. So as I walk, like in those movies you see from jail where there's the glass windows, and you
Yeah,
talk
yeah,
between
yeah. The visitor's box. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
past that and I look and he's not there. So around the corner is where they tell me to go. So the first thing I think of, they're going to fucking kill me. So you know how we're taught when you clear a room, instead of going high, look down low real quick and then go
Yeah,
around,
yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I go low to look and my attorney's like, what the F are you doing? Get up. And they call me Butch on the police department. So my friend Jeff would always call me Butch also. What the hell are you doing? I said, Jeff, I thought they were going to kill me because that's why you need to get out of here. And he says, I have your money to bond out. And I said, oh, that's great, Jeff. I had a credit card, which I paid off just in case they did this shit to me. He goes, well, get the fuck out of here then. I go, I'm outside with Dave Savini and your wife from Channel 2, you know. And I said, he goes, what are you doing? I said, look, I'm Nelson Mandela. I want to be a voice and have my voice heard in court by the judge because this is bullshit. He goes, no, Butch, you don't want to stay here. I said, but I already asked what they're having for dinner. I think it was chicken or some shit. He goes, get out of here, bond out. So I
And they only
bonded out.
serve chicken like once a week.
Exactly. I had a good day, man. I was gonna have chicken if it was any
Yeah,
good, right? And they're
yeah.
probably gonna give me my orange jumpsuit while I was at it. So I bonded out and go out and I talked to Dave Savini in the news. So now I am on administrative leave at home. Okay, still getting paid. So
So you
this is
bonded out.
yeah, I bonded out. So
Okay.
October 21st it happened. So what I didn't know until later on. So at the time the mayor was Mayor Bob Odenkirk, really good guy. Used to be a police officer. Matter of fact, when he was a rookie, he rode with me. So he was a good guy, hardworking officer. He got screwed over on the department when he put in for the FBI, DEA. A captain that didn't like him blackballed him with federal agencies. So he sued the department, and the city gave him money. Not only that, but they paid for him to go to law school to become an attorney. He became an attorney, went off with Blackwater, for a year and a half to go do a detail in Iraq as a police officer to help train other people,
Yeah,
Iraqi officers, whatever.
yeah,
Comes back, runs for mayor, becomes mayor. When all this went on, Oderkirk writes a letter to the Attorney General of Illinois, which is Kwame Raoul, who was still the Attorney General. And in the letter, he wanted all the council members to sign it. The council members got to watch the video before it was released to the clergy. Remember when they tried to cover it up? They found out that I had watched the video twice. So they wanted to see what it was about. So they watched it. Only 3 council members out of 8 and the mayor signed that letter. In that letter, it stated he wanted Kwame Raoul requested that he investigate the Eric Lurie case as well as what they were doing to me. So you're gonna love this. That letter said it went to Kwame. He sends a letter back and says to the city of Joliet and the mayor's office and so forth, we need all information in reference to the Eric Lurie case as well as to what they're doing to Sergeant Escueda. What does the police department do? That letter says by October 16th. They gave them everything, but they waited until the 16th to have me arrested.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
But
so
you know
that
what? You were blessed with at least people that wanted to help, right? Like the mayor and three. At least you had 3 city council members. Here in New York, it's just it goes under the radar. Like no politicians want to touch it.
see, and
You know.
that's what the problem is. If you had good people that would open their mouth to try to help good officers, wouldn't be in the
Yeah.
situation that we're in.
Right. Exactly.
So now I'm on administrative leave at home. So the city manager at the time was Caparelli and Bob Odenkirk's the mayor. They didn't want me to sit at home getting paid. Because what wasn't the it wasn't the city, it wasn't the mayor, it was the city manager. That's not right that I'm sitting home getting paid after what they did to me. So they wanted me to come back to work. Well, they were very aware that if they put me back at the police department, I may get harmed, right? So instead they assigned me to City Hall to business services with a great group of people. It
Okay.
was all women that worked in there, but they were all women of God and they were all great people. They knew what I was going through. They never mistreated me. I did miscellaneous work for them, which was a lot of work, but it helped them out a lot because that would have been on them to do that work. And it was a lot of stuff that I learned. Long story short, so I was assigned to business services and I was there almost, it was a year and a half, maybe, yeah, a year and a half, almost 2 years from April of 2021 to 22, August, over a year till about July 20th of 22, I retired. I retired July 20th of 22. So I was still getting paid, working in business services Monday through Friday. I think it was 8 to 4. Yeah, 8 to 4 or 9 to 5. I can't remember the exact hours.
So with your department, right? Your retirement. Are you eligible for retirement after 20 years, like NYPD, or like,
Yes.
or you
After
guys have to
20
hit a
years,
certain age?
after 20 years, you have to have 20 years and at least 50 years of age.
So your retirement is already locked in, right? Like they can't
Yep.
take that away. So
Unless I'm
because you had 27 years at the time, right? Now, when you retired, saying that you had 29 years, right? Because like 2022, right? It's 29
Yeah.
years, right?
So
On the job.
28 years and 11 months. 1
Oh wow.
month shy of another bump in my pension, which is
Right, right,
only
right.
2.5%, which at 55, I would gain. So when I retired, I was 52. We have what they call a COLA, cost of living
Uh,
raise.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, every year after 55, you get a 3% raise every year compounded till you
Right,
die.
right, right, right.
So I lost 2.5%, but I retired at 52. At 55, I got like a 9% or something big bump in
Yeah,
raise. Then every
yeah.
year, 3% after that. So I was still getting my pension, thank God, because I wasn't convicted or I wasn't fired. So during
Okay, so
this time,
you beat the felony charges in court,
not yet,
right? Not
not
yet.
yet.
Okay, so that's still going on.
Right. So now when
Wow.
I'm on administrative leave, I'm sorry, now when I'm back, the chief, who was my lieutenant, she's the chief now. So mind you, after all this happened and the new city manager comes in, Caparelli, he decides he's going to make my lieutenant, that field training sergeant, the female told me to watch the video, a deputy chief, and 3 other people deputy chiefs, right? They all say they're going to help clear my name. Supervisors union comes and talks to them, acts like they're buddy buddy with her. The supervisors union would talk behind her back when she was a lieutenant and say she was useless as a lieutenant.
Yeah, a lot of the guys do that. Male chauvinistic
Yep.
pig
She
stuff.
went in for deputy chief when Al Roachner and Reed and them were deputy chiefs when they were looking for one, and they laughed at her. Now all of a sudden she's a chief. Now the supervisors union likes her because they're going to use her. They tried to push Egizio through her administration as a deputy chief. So she tried to make him deputy chief without permission of the city manager. Puts the paperwork in. HR gets it and go, what is this shit? HR says you can't do that without permission of the city manager. She says no. The supervisors union told me I'm a chief. I can do whatever I want. City manager says, no, you can't. He is not going to be a deputy chief. So they start my internal. City manager says, no, leave him alone. I believe he's a whistleblower. She says, okay. They do my internal. They then find that I am guilty or found that I violated 16 policies because the guy that they hired, Denolfo, mind you, Denolfo now is the city attorney. He's what they call what do they call him? He's like the attorney that investigates corruption in the city. I can't think of what they call it. Not the city attorney, but he's something else.
Like
So
inspector
that's what he's
general
doing.
or DOI.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah.
So he says that I'm guilty of 16 policies. So he says, look, leave him alone. You can't do anything to him. Gotta wait till his criminal charges are cleared or he's convicted. What does the chief do? The female chief? And I'm gonna name her because her name's Malik. She goes to one of the city council women, Reardon, and gives her my internal. Nobody's supposed to get that. Gives her my internal, trying to garner the city council to push to have me fired. City manager finds out, he goes to fire her from being the chief. Well, he can't just fire her because what he could do is fire her as the chief, but she has to go back to rank of lieutenant.
Yeah, demoter.
Right, demote her back to lieutenant. So she eventually gets demoted back to lieutenant. So she winds up retiring because she doesn't want to be a lieutenant again because she was a chief. Ooh, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now they hire a chief from the outside. All right, his name is Evans. He was supposed to be a good guy. So when I go and retire, Evans gives me my retirement ID that says retired from the police department and a letter saying that you should be proud of the 28 years
Yeah,
of
we
working
we
on
call
the
it
Joint Police Department, right?
yeah, we call a good guy letter.
Yeah. Does that sound like I left in bad standing?
No, not at
Not
all.
at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
So get this shit. So now I forgot this. I skipped this. December of 2020, after I was arrested October 21st, I get a phone call from my attorney. He says, guess what? They took your case to the grand jury without letting us know, and they added 2 more charges of official misconduct. 4 charges. So Agizio lied to the grand jury. In the script of the grand jury, the state's attorney at the time is Pilmer. I'm sorry, not Pilmer. That's the judge. Let me back up. Is Schlipka, Mark Schlipka. In the script, he asks Agizio, you're going to love this, brother. I mean, this is like a bad movie. He asks Agizio, was that video locked to Sergeant Escueda? And Agizio says, no, the video was actually accessible to Sergeant Escueda for some time. So him saying that shows they lied on the police report.
Yeah.
Gets better. So Schlipka hearing this knows, oh, shit, this isn't going my way. So he now goes around questioning in front of the grand jury. 4 different times he stops Agizio and said, wait a minute, Lieutenant Agizio, the video was in fact locked, wasn't it? When he watched it. And Agizio then says, yes, it was. 4 different times, dude, after Agizio already said it was not locked. So you know what they say about a grand jury, right? A grand jury will freaking indict a ham sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah, you can dye a ham sandwich, yeah.
Yep. That's what they did. They added 2 more charges.
So ultimately now, today, you beat those felony charges, correct?
Yeah, so what happened was we wound up going to court 4.5 years, and in between there, this state's attorney, the number 2 guy, not the elected like the state's attorney, so Schlipka and the judge was Pilmer. Every time my attorney, Tom Zach, would present viable evidence, including exculpatory evidence, which was the police department's general order on in-car video. And on there, it says the job of a field training sergeant, and one of them is to watch video.
Yeah, of
And
course. Yeah.
part of watching video, if I find something that's illegal, immoral, or we could use for training, I can copy it.
Right. Right.
When he presented that to that judge, the judge said, no, Mr. Tom Zach, it's not viable.
What?
Exculpatory evidence. And they would look at each other, Schlipka and the judge, and they would smirk at each other. I never saw such a blatant injustice in the courtroom, they would smirk at each other. So get this. The reason I'm telling this story, 3.5 years, almost 4 years later, Schlipka is put on administrative leave. Guess what he was doing? He was fucking a girl that he was prosecuting. During this time that he's dating her, fucking her, he tells her, "Don't worry, hon, I'll take care of you. You take care of me." I got friend judges in my pocket.
That's
In my
crazy.
pocket.